if you're hiring that person, that transparency of what we like in the business is crucial. If you sugarcoat it and tell somebody that we know exactly what we're doing and we know exactly where we're heading, and then they come in on day one and we go, oh yeah, we haven't even got a folder for that. The expectations, don't match the reality, and then people come in a bit blindsided. So the transparency through a recruitment process is key, because then the person that's coming in knows what they're getting. There's not a surprise. Great. Okay, they're on a level playing field already because they know exactly what to expect. Onboarding, I mean, I'm still probably I talk a good talk and then it goes to pot because we're all so busy. But having a really good onboarding plan, meeting people in the team in their first week or first 2 weeks, they're in their direct team, but then the wider team. We might have no reason for somebody in the media side of the business to talk to the car auction side, but actually, if they've met each other on a Zoom call or in a face-to-face meeting for half an hour, that rapport starts to build, and then suddenly there's some reason to work together, and they know it because they've already had a conversation with that other person. So that onboarding is crucial. The communication and collaboration between each department is where we've really been focusing in the last kind of, probably say, 12 months, building rapport between each department so they know what's going on. Because if one team asks another team for something and they don't realize how busy the other team is, when they get a no, there's disgruntlement. And it's like, okay, well, what are they even doing? Again, it's that transparency about what people's day jobs look like, what's in the calendar. And we've set up kind of leadership meetings once a week. So we have, a board meeting every Monday lunchtime. There's kind of a heads of meeting or director meeting, and then there's a middle management meeting. And every Monday, and I actually sit in all three, again, to make sure that things are filtered down. So whatever the board are talking about, who needs to know it, who's it relevant to, that goes down to head of, and then goes from head of down to middle management as well. Because when that flow doesn't work, the staff level start asking questions. They don't know what's going on. They feel misdirected. If they've had that communication pass through from each layer, it just makes the wheel move. Everybody knows generally where they're going, even if it's only for 6 weeks and then it changes again because of an algorithm change on Meta. It still helps that process, and people feel more secure because they know exactly what's going on. They know what other teams are doing or what they're facing. We went to a large car show last weekend, and actually that turned out to be 4 or 5 departments that all needed to know what was going on, because, there was content created from it. There was a car that was gonna be sold, and then it just went on. And luckily we'd had that meeting the week before and everybody was fully invested. People jumped in and worked over the weekends to get the stuff out there and, published and created, and a team environment came out of that. And, again, it helps build the relationships between all the individuals, and the collaboration means that generally it's successful. So hopefully, then that content's all live. Everyone's, patting each other on the back and saying thank you for your help and support for getting it done.